I just did an interview with Richard Hoagland, and he's talking about Obama being on the right track and things are going to change now that in the next 2 years. And I made him a bet. I said, no, hey, Richard, it ain't going to happen. This guy is simply the Banksters boy. He's down on his knees, and he's not just shining their shoes.
You know, but let me tell you what is kind of amazing me, if you'll notice, over the past few months, about 12 members, including Rahm Emanuel and James L. Jones, all these Council on Foreign Relations guys have all been bounced. So, I don't know.
What do you mean? CFR guys taking the exit door?
Yeah, he's shown them the door. So I don't know.
Well, it's just a shuffle, right? You've played a poker game, Texas Hold'em, Texas Hold'em.
That's what I'm afraid of, but you never know. But see, that worries me because if it's legit and if he's trying to bounce the Council on Foreign Relations, then he better watch his backside.
Now, there's a possibility that Obama could be terminated were he to become so disastrous that the only way that they could make him a star again is to kill him. I mean, have they done things like that? Is that a possibility?
That's a possibility. And if we're told that there's an assassination attempt and we're told he's dead and then we're told, no, wait a minute, he's not dead, he actually came back, then we really got to worry.
Well, he's sort of brain dead. I mean, he's reading, he's reading the scripts over here, the teleprompter, one goes down, he says, oh God, we've got problems, right here, Houston.
Everybody knows that it makes no sense that you send a kid to the emergency room for a treatable illness like asthma. They end up taking up a hospital bed. It costs, you gave them treatment early, and they got some treatment and a breathalyzer, or an inhalator, not a breathalyzer. I haven't had much sleep in the last 48 hours, so.
You're from Texas.
Right.
You played cards.
Texas Hold'em.
Texas Hold'em. Is this guy not the biggest charlatan? We have Bush. It's difficult to make a decision who would be at the top of the list or at the bottom of the pile.
Well, we should have been tipped off when anybody comes from Chicago.
Rahm Emanuel's guy, the Banksters boy, is, take a look in there, Obama, the Banksters boy. In every single turn and every single thing that he does, from the reappointment of Bernanke, saying he was going to make a change, he reappointed the same guy.
Exactly.
And what's his other guy?
So far, it seems to be just more of the same.
More of the same.
But let's hide and watch.
Jim has come up with book after book after book, revelation after revelation after revelation. I'm wondering why you haven't picked up a Jim Marrs book. And any one of them will bring you from where you are to where you ought to be, or at least closer to finding out what's behind the mask and who's behind it. Is there a monster behind the mask of Obama? We know that his mentor is Saul Alinsky, right? And Saul Alinsky dedicated his book to Lucifer. To Lucifer. Not my God, but his God. Lord Lucifer. Right? That's who he took on as his mentor. Saul Alinsky, who's in bed with Lucifer in his heart, in his soul, and his... That's the way it goes. My God Almighty.
Well, when you go all the way back, you find out that his mother in the Philippines was working for the father of Timothy Geithner for the Ford Foundation. One of the...
Timothy Geithner. I mean, have we ever heard Timothy Geithner? Treasury? No, I don't know.
Treasury Secretary.
Oh, yes, Treasury's...
And
oh, boy, that slaps you in the face. You get the message, you get it, and he says, well, it's like in the film Chinatown, Jack Nicholson was asking Faye Dunaway, he says, well, who is that girl? And he says, my daughter. He says, no, who is it? You're lying to me. He says, my sister. My daughter, my sister. It's back and forth.
Yeah.
We're talking about a man that has dedicated his entire life to establishing a new world order.
Well, this is what we see is happening recently. You know, from the selection of 2000 until the election of 2008, we got neoconservatism of the Bush administration, which was nothing.
Wait, it's neo-Nazism.
Yeah.
It's fascism.
Well, because neoconservatism was simply a prettied up name for National Socialism, the German acronym of which is Nazi. Okay? But then when people started figuring out, they're going, wait a minute, Bush keeps talking as a conservative, but he's not a constitutional conservative. He's pushing these social programs. He's launching preemptive wars. What's going on?
Well, he's doing a dance.
Yeah. And so in 2008, they shifted us from National Socialism to Marxist socialism.
Yeah, I was talking to Richard Hogan, and I like Richard. We've been friends for years. My God. And he's a bright guy. I don't know why it isn't just like a picture on the wall. It's a moving picture. It's like you look back here at the curtain and you see an image, but it's like in The Wizard of Oz. You know, you say, who the hell is that frightening guy up there? Oh God, right? And along comes Toto, right? And pulls back the curtain. The Image of Oz. Sounds like a hell of a book.
But hope springs eternal in the human breast. We all want to hope that it's going to get better.
Well, I don't know what breast you're sucking on, but that's hind tit on the pig to me, I'll tell you.
Well, that's why, you know, the 2008, the Obama campaign was hope for change, you know. Of course, today it's
now
hoping for change.
And it's now groping for change, you know. And that's the change in your pocket, but you're not going to get much else, right?
Well, you know, so far the banksters are still in control, so we just have to keep an eye on it.
Years ago, when I first created that word in Banksters, and I was going through a publication called The Probe, The People's Revolt Over the Banking Establishment. I talked about the sheeple, and that's like 35 years ago. And today, you know, we look out there and we see the sheeple.
Yeah, but look what's happening right now. There's even a moratorium on foreclosures. Because what's coming up is all these mortgages that they've signed with all these people, not just the subprime people, but even people with legitimate mortgages, they're finding out that it's all a fraud. And there are courts now that are trying to decide, well, wait a minute, they can even prove true ownership. You know, when you sign a mortgage, you're the owner.
Well, I've been thinking about this. Why is it that the banks, who create nothing but debt, they never pick up a hammer?
They never
cut a board.
anything. They never give you anything.
They never installed a toilet, or put on a roof, or put in a window, or laid a carpet. They never did a damn thing. Why is it they own all of the property, and the people who created the property and created all of the wealth own nothing but debt? Or, yeah, do you own debt?
Well, that's why there's a moratorium on foreclosures, because they're finding out that they don't really own anything. The owners own it.
So they get all of the money, and we get all of the debt.
Yeah.
We do all of the work, and they do not a goddamn single thing. Nothing. Nothing. They give you nothing except debt, and they own it all. We've got to change this system.
Pretty good racket.
In the UK, they've got the Bank of England, and over here the Federal Reserve, and they're working together.
And the Federal Reserve has sent trillions, not millions, not billions, but trillions of our tax money overseas to prop up foreign banks. And when Congress says, well, wait a minute, what do we get as collateral, and what banks got this, and are we going to get anything out of this?
Millions and millions and billions of dollars go through the system, the Federal Reserve System. They've never been audited.
Now back to the United States. I'm now joined live by our correspondent in New York, Marina Portnair. Marina, it seems the Obama administration hopes to kickstart the economy by simply printing money. I mean, it's just as the British government and others have decided to do.
The Federal Reserve is once again stepping up efforts to save the U.S. economy, announcing that it will pump an extra $1 trillion into the U.S. financial system by purchasing Treasury bonds and mortgage securities. Now, the idea, of course, is to encourage economic activity by lowering interest rates, including those on home loans. While this may bring a short-term jolt, many critics say that printing money, vast amount of money, out of thin air will bring disastrous consequences. More specifically, hyperinflation and the plunge of the U.S. dollar. Many experts have gone on record saying that the U.S. monetary policy has passed the point of no return when it comes to printing money. So Americans eventually one day may have a stash of cash at home, but if you go to a store and bread costs $10, $20, what is your money really worth? And if anybody has any doubts over the severity of hyperinflation, look to Germany in the early 1920s. At that point, paper currency had lost so much value that people were literally burning it in furnaces to stay warm.
We get an ass whooping, not even an ass kissing.
Well, they tell us, well, we can't tell you that because we're a private institution. Come on, what kind of deal is that?
It's crazy out there. God, you know.
Tell them to take a hike.
This Obama is obviously a Marxist. And the Marxist, who is his mentor's Lord, is Lucifer. And Karl Marx was a Luciferian. People say, well, Karl Marx was Jewish. No, Karl Marx wasn't Jewish. He's a Luciferian. You can't be a Jew and be a Marxist, can you? You have to give away something. Well, and I was talking to Tex Marrs about this. He says, beware of those who call themselves Jews but are not.
Right.
And that's where I have a disagreement with Tex. And we've been doing a little clip on this particular issue. Well, these people are of another breed. They're a Luciferian sect.
Well, on top of that, they don't understand, nobody understands it anyway, because Sammy Davis Jr. was Jewish.
All right.
Yeah, because he converted to Judaism.
But he wasn't
a Hebrew.
No, he converted to Satanism. He was with Anton LaVey in San Francisco, the first Church of Satan. He became what he called a Jew first, and then he became a Satanist, a practicing Satanist. He was into snuff films. That's where the girls is brought in with promises of dope or monies, and they slash her together, like Jack the Ripper. They disembowel her, and they think that's fun. Sammy Davis Jr., practicing Satanist. Marxist? Well, I don't know, but Obama is a Marxist. He has a different religion. Is he a Christian? Oh, the one his minister says, he doesn't say God bless America. He says God damned America. God damned America is what his minister has to say.
No, not God bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible.
I don't think that my church is actually particularly controversial.
No, not God bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible.
I don't think that my church is actually particularly controversial.